Hi, Jim Van Zant, one of the pastors here at Carlisle United Methodist Church with Sermon in 3 Minutes. Thanks for tuning in. Pastor Mira and I are doing a series this summer of our favorite books. These are some titles we took off of our Christian bookshelves here, things that have impacted our lives, and we get to share them over the course of the summertime. Last week I got to share one of my favorite books. It's Crazy Love by Francis Chan. I highly recommend it. I call it a 10-year book. By that I mean what's in the book can influence your life for 10 years. He really spends a lot of time, the first 3 chapters of the book, getting us to understand what the love of God is really in our lives. We don't fully appreciate or understand that, and because of that, he says we're kind of misguided. And I have to say he's right on that, and getting that straight in our lives first really then is so important to then how we live out the Christian life. He says with regard to living the Christian life that many of us sadly have bought into what he calls the mainstream Christian culture, which really doesn't strive to be different from the world around us. And yet he makes a very big case that from the very beginning, Jesus called us to be salt and light, meaning we were called to be different than the world around us. And he sadly sees too many Christians not being any different than the regular culture that is all around us. Regarding God's love, an important thought and understanding that I fully appreciated when I read Chan's book, Crazy Love, is his idea of understanding that when we think of God's love in our life, one of the things we think is that when we make a mistake or sin in some kind of way, that God is thoroughly displeased with us. We often wrongly think that when God looks at us, all he sees is our flaws. He is very quick in his book to remind us God is like a parent, and if you're a parent, you know your children have flaws, but you overlook them. Why? Because you love them. Our Father in heaven is the same way. He knows we have flaws, doesn't expect perfection, and it overlooks that in our lives. Too many of us go around in our lives fearing God, thinking he only sees the bad stuff, when in fact God sees far more than that in our lives. If there's one thought to take from this 3-minute sermon, let it be that in your life. Know that, yeah, God knows your flaws, but that's not what he's interested in. He's really interested in you. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in.